right, so today I'm going to show you guys how to make what I've always known as what they've called an Indian braid bracelet, but nowadays it seems like they're calling it a fishtail. So those of you who like to do the fishtail hairstyle when you braid your hair, or you've seen people with it, this bracelet's going to be similar to that. So if you look very closely, you're going to notice that it has the arrowhead look just like the fishtail does, and it goes all the way around. So this is more of a rounded bracelet than a flat bracelet. So to do this, couple things that you're going to need. You need a pair of scissors, because you are going to do a little bit of cutting, although you'll be surprised, very, very little. You're going to need up to 7 different strings to use. Now, if you want to use more than one color, or you want to repeat more than one color, you just have to make sure that you have up to 7 strings once we're finished, and you'll see how we do that. And then I use a big old clip, because I'm going to create a loom between me and actually this bar right here. Because believe it or not, friendship bracelets are your very basic concept of weaving. They have what we call a weft, which is what goes in and out and does the actual weaving portion. And then they have a warp. A warp is the basic structure, almost like a skeleton for whatever you're weaving. So if you've ever looked at a humongous loom, you'll notice they have a warp, and that's that big string set that just flows across the loom. And then they have the weft that goes in and out and weaves it. And you use the shuttle, which is a little piece of wood with the string wrapped on it, that you sail up and back through. But we're going to actually be the loom. And it's going to be us and this clip that's going to do it. Now, to do this bracelet, the first thing you want to do is you want to get all of your strings set up. Now, I suggest when you do your strings that you do about a yard for each one. So here's my first one, going back out, cutting it a yard. My second color, cutting. Third color. Fourth color. You notice I'm trying to get them all about the same amount as I do it. We're going to even them out later, but that's okay. So here's my 5th color. Find the end. Lost my end on this one. Well, we'll pull one piece and it'll probably tell us where an end is. There we go. And my last color. So I've got 7. That's the max you can do on this, believe it or not. Now, once you've done that, you're going to line up one end, because you do need all of these to be the same length in the end. So we're going to line them all up on one side. So I've got them all about lined up. Looks like I'm missing one. Yep, I'm missing my orange. That was my first one too. And so I have them lined up on one side, and now I'm pulling down so I straighten them all out. Because with weaving, you want your weft and your warp to be nice and straight. So here's my strings. Now, I'm using embroidery floss. I use embroidery floss because it's soft, the colors can be bright, and they stay really, really well. So you can get them wet millions of times, and they're never going to lose their color. Only time that can happen is if you bleach them. So you want to make sure you don't get bleach on them. Now what I've just done now is I've trimmed it, so now both my ends are nice and straight. And this kind of makes a loop, okay? So I'm going to put these two together, and then I'm going to make one big knot with them together by wrapping it around my finger and pushing it through. So I've made one complete knot that's holding all my strings together. Well, probably good that I did that. I missed a string. You don't want to miss a string. So pulling it back out, straightening it up, doing it again. Don't miss a string because it's going to need to be held. Now, here, believe it or not, I have my loop. This is going to be my warp and my wep strings all at the same time, which is kind of crazy because on a loom, typically they're separate. I'm going to take this and create my loom by clipping this to this bar so it holds on to it. And it's going to hold on to my string pretty well. So you see how I have it. Now if you want to come a little bit closer, you'll see I have my 7 strings. 1, 2, 3. So I've got those 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now, this is important, okay? If you look, I've got the rounded edges on that first crease of my finger. And that's how I'm holding it kind of nice and tight. I don't want to pull it off from the clip, but I want to hold it nice and tight so that when I do my weaving, I don't get any loose spots. Okay? Now, the order is going to make a difference. Okay? So, what I want to do is, if you want a specific order, you have to pay attention because it goes up the colors. So, my blue and green, I don't like how they are. So, I'm going to move it. So purple is my color here, then blue, then green. So it's in color order. Because those of you guys who know me know I'm all about color order. This side is totally wrong too, because my front finger, my first pointer finger, should have the yellow, then green, then red, then pink. So I'm all set up. The top colors should be the ones that you realize are going to be the ones that move. Okay? Now, there are 2 moves for weaving. This bottom here is going to stay my warp string. This top is going to be my wep string. And if you notice, every one of these has a warp and a wep. The only string you ever move is the wep. You never move the warp string. So to do this, you're going to use your pinky as your shuttle. Okay, remember the shuttle's the one that moves your colors. So I want you to watch this. I'm going to pick, and when I pick, I'm just pulling on the string. Okay, so I'm picking the pink, then I'm picking the red, then I'm picking the orange. They're staying on my finger still, because remember I'm part of the loom, but they're all 3 together on there. Then I'm going to turn my pinky and I'm going to pull. Do you see I'm just pulling that top? I'm going to pull that string through and let it go off my pointer. So do you see how now my pointer where the yellow used to be is gone, but of course I have one problem. I don't have any extra space here. Here now I have my 4, but I just realized something. My yellow and my green are not in the places I want it. So before you go anywhere on this first move, make your adjustments. So I'm going to put my green back down here and my purple right there. So now I know it's going to be in color order. Now, I got to get my pinky free because remember your pinky is what you're using as your shuttle. So I move the orange up one, I move the red up one, and the pink up one. So if you look, my pinky is now free. So now it's time to do this side. Pick the top of the yellow, top of the green, top of the blue. Go above that purple and turn your pinky so you can see your nail and pull that through. And I've done it again. Move, move, move. So I'm going to adjust. That's always going to be adjust. You notice I moved them all up. My pinky's got to be free. Then I do it again. Pick, 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 always the top. Turn my pinky and pull it through. Then adjust. Pick, pick, pick. Turn my pinky, pull it through, and adjust. Now remember, picking, you're taking the top, the top, the top, turning your pinky and pulling it through. Then remember, adjusting is moving this up so you free your pinky again. So I'm going to go ahead and do this a little quicker. Pick, 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 pull, adjust. 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 And I'm just going along doing it. This is one of those things that you could be watching TV when you get good at it. But if you look closely at what's going on, you'll see that we're starting to get our arrowheads, otherwise known as our fishtail. So we continue going all the way through till we get the length that we want. Pick, pick, pick. See how I'm picking up the top one, turning my pinky so I can see my nail and pulling the top through. Whoops! Well, look what happened. So I let go of it on accident. And that's going to happen. Well, you just grab it back into your finger. The only thing you want to make sure is, make sure you haven't twisted this end here. You want to make sure it's straight. So, go about my business because I fixed my mistake. Pick, 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 pull. Pick, 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 pull. Other things that could happen to you. You could accidentally pick or forget to adjust. And if you go to your hand, you'll realize there's two colors on the same one. Well, you want to avoid that. If that happens, just stop, move your fingers, put them back in the right order, and like I said, check to make sure that everything is nice and straight up here. Stop it.